They thought a blind man was an easy target. They were dead wrong. Imagine this. You're a veteran. You've served your country. But a tragic accident has plunged you into darkness. You've lost your sight. And with it, you've lost your purpose. That's Norman Nordstrom's reality. He lives a solitary life. His only companion, the memory of his late daughter. He's adrift in a sea of silence and shadows, just trying to get through each day. But one fateful night, everything changes. A desperate young girl named Phoenix stumbles into his life, not by chance, but because she's running for her life. She's being hunted by a ruthless gang of kidnappers, men who see her as nothing more than a commodity. They track her to Norman's home, thinking it's an easy score. A lone, blind man. What threat could he possibly be? That's their first mistake. They don't know who they're dealing with. They see a victim, but what they've found is a protector. The gang, led by the chillingly cruel Raylan, has a dark and twisted plan. They want Phoenix for a sinister organ trafficking ring, and they'll stop at nothing to get her. They storm Norman's house, confident and brutal. The air crackles with tension. You can almost feel the floorboards creak under their heavy boots. They expect fear. They expect surrender. What they get is Norman Nordstrom. He may not have his sight, but his other senses are honed to a razor's edge. Every sound, every vibration, every shift in the air tells him a story. He knows his house better than anyone, every nook, every cranny. It's his fortress. And these intruders just walked into the lion's den. The quiet, isolated house transforms into a deadly labyrinth. The hunters become the hunted. Norman uses the darkness, his constant companion, as his greatest weapon. He moves like a ghost, a silent predator in his own domain. The initial confrontation is brutal and swift. The gang, overconfident and loud, gives away their positions with every step. Norman, using his knowledge of the layout and his heightened hearing, starts to turn the tables. He sets up clever traps, using everyday objects as weapons. A tripwire here, a hidden snare there. The kidnappers are disoriented, confused. How is this blind man outsmarting them? The first thug goes down, taken out by a perfectly aimed strike from the shadows. Panic starts to set in. Raylan, furious, pushes his men harder, but their fear is palpable. They came for a girl, and now they're refighting for their lives, against a man who seems to be everywhere and nowhere at once. Meanwhile, Norman is not just fighting, he's protecting. He guides Phoenix, teaching her to be silent, to use the environment, to survive. A bond forms between this broken veteran and the terrified child. He sees a chance to redeem a past he can't escape, a chance to save a life, to find a new purpose in the darkness. The fight escalates. Raylan is no fool, he's vicious and cunning. He starts to adapt, trying to use light and sound to disorient Norman. He realizes Norman's strength is also his weakness. They try to flush him out with fire, filling the house with smoke and flames. The stakes are getting higher. The house, once Norman's sanctuary, is now a blazing inferno. He and Phoenix are trapped, caught between the fire and the remaining, desperate kidnappers. Norman has to make a choice, stay and fight in his element, or venture into the unknown. Outside the walls of his home, where his blindness could be a fatal disadvantage, the smoke burns his lungs, the heat is unbearable, but his resolve is iron. He has to get Phoenix to safety. He's made a silent promise to her, and he'll die before he breaks it. This isn't just about survival anymore. It's about a father's protective instinct, reawakened by a girl who needs him. They make a daring escape from the burning house, bursting out into the night. But the ordeal is far from over. Raylan and his last remaining henchmen are right behind them. The chase is on, through the dark woods surrounding the property. Here Norman is at a disadvantage. The uneven terrain, the unfamiliar sounds. It's a world he doesn't control. Raylan and his man have night vision goggles, giving them a clear edge. They hunt Norman and Phoenix like animals. Phoenix, though terrified, has learned from Norman. She becomes his eyes, whispering directions, warning him of obstacles. Their teamwork is their only hope. They have to rely on each other completely. It's a desperate struggle through the trees and underbrush, a deadly game of cat and mouse where one wrong step means the end. Norman uses every ounce of his training, every heightened sense, to stay one step ahead. He can hear their footsteps, smell their sweat, feel the tension in the air. In a clearing, the final showdown happens. There's nowhere left to run. It's Norman and Phoenix against Raylan, a man driven by pure greed and cruelty. The fight is raw and personal. Norman is injured, exhausted, but fueled by a protective fury he hasn't felt in years. He's not just fighting a man, he's fighting his own demons, his own past failures. Every blow he lands is for the daughter he lost, and for the one he's trying to save. He uses his environment, a nearby lake, to level the playing field. He plunges himself and Raylan into the water, where sight becomes useless for both of them. In the murky depths, it comes down to pure instinct and will to survive. It's a primal battle, a desperate, breathless struggle for life. Norman's military training kicks in, the muscle memory of a soldier who refuses to be beaten. He fights with the strength of a man who has nothing left to lose and everything to gain. In the end, Norman emerges from the water, victorious but battered. He has faced the darkness, both literal and metaphorical, and has come out the other side. He finds Phoenix, safe. The ordeal is over. As the first light of dawn breaks, a new day begins. For Norman, it's the start of a new life. He's no longer just a blind veteran living in the shadows of his past. He is a protector, a guardian. He found a reason to live, a purpose in protecting Phoenix. He takes her hand, and together, they walk away from the wreckage of their past, towards a future that, for the first time in a long time, seems to have a little bit of light. He saved her from the gang, but in a way, she saved him too. She gave him back his humanity. This story shows us that even in the deepest darkness, a hero can rise, and that the strongest light often comes from the most unexpected places. Thanks for watching, and if you were moved by Norman's story, make sure to like and subscribe for more incredible tales of courage.